Good afternoon, Jason here, Birchfield Family Farm, Oxford, Ohio. Got a great day out here on the farm, mid-40s. It's a nice change from the really cold weather we've had. A little bit of a breeze out of the southwest has brought up some warm air, so we'll take it here for January in Ohio. Hey, I have an encouraging word to start out with things today. It's from Psalm 37, verses 7 through 9. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when men succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. Refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Do not fret. It leads only to evil. For evil men will be cut off, but those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. So when we were first doing our research into farm animals, we knew that we wanted a small ruminant, something small that would eat grass, kind of a good place to start. So there was a sheep or goat decision, and we had heard that goats could be really bad at escaping. Okay, that's not a fit, so we went the sheep route. Within the sheep, didn't take us long to land on St Croix. And in addition to parasite resistance and being a hair breed, we were also told that they were resistant to foot rot. And when, just our research looking around, this is what the majority of folks were saying. And I have to say, 4 years into this with St Croix, we have not had a foot issue until now. So we've had some pretty wild and intense temperature fluctuations here, just within the last, 2 to 4 weeks. I think we hit close to 60 degrees one of the days and got almost an inch of rain there. Had that happen twice. And then there was a day where after the rain we dropped off and, we're down to like negative 10 degrees. So 60, 70 degree, temperature fluctuations. And hey, buddy, you want to say hi? Yeah? Okay, say hi. There you go. And, with those, when we had the real wet weather, it was just mud. I mean, everything turns to mud, especially some of the lower spots here in this winter paddock. And I noticed two of my oldest best ewes, were limping. So we ran them in the barn, got them in the chute, and I'll show some of that and what we discovered. But basically, what we think was happening is the mud is squishing up through the hoof, the space in between the hoof, and there's this section of skin right at the top of the cloven hoof, and it's I believe they call it interdigital skin. And in both cases, both ewes, each ewe had one had 1 foot, the other one had 2, where it was just sore. So I think what was happening is that mud was squishing in there, it was freezing, and then you get that frozen hunk of crud that's rubbing on that skin in between the hoof there. Hoof rot in sheep is caused by a couple different bacteria. We're not gonna get into all that today. I don't think hoof rot is what we're dealing with here. Also, with hoof rot, there's a very nasty, putrid smell. I guess you really can't miss it if that's what's going on. One other note here too is we only trim hooves about once a year. There is going to be a difference in your ruminant animals, and if you're graining or if you're going grass-fed. If you're graining, obviously your animals they're putting on weight quicker, and so you are going to have faster growth in the hooves. Us being grass fed here, once a year has always been pretty sufficient for us, but not something either that we want to neglect. Sarah's gonna fill our box here, kind of entice them once they're up here to settle down and get their head in there. Ouch! Okay, let's do Sunny first. I just got a headbutt. Hey, come on, you're up here. Come on. So after doing a little more research, I'm fairly confident in saying the issue we're facing is ovine interdigital dermatitis. Some call it scald. Not near as aggressive as foot rot. I thought it might be useful while we're in here, though, to show how we do our regular hoof trimming as well. We're going to go at this with a couple different tools here. One is just my Felco landscape trimmers. You can buy hoof trimmers, but you certainly don't have to do that. We're going to be using those, and then I like to use a brush just to get some of the crud out. I'm going to lift the foot up here and just kind of start to clean him off and take a look at what we got going on here. Okay, wanted to show this hoof here. This is a pretty good example of what's happening to us right now in this season. We get the really wet, warm weather, and the sheep obviously are putting pressure down on the cloven hoof here, and then we get this mud. This mud gets caught in between the hoof, and it gets up in there, and then we're seeing freezing temperatures, very cold, and this skin in between here, this interdigital skin, is becoming sore, and we've had that on a couple of the ewes. And this is the first time we've seen that this year. He needs some definite trim work here, so we'll show you that as well. But that's what's going on. The skin is taking the brunt of that freezing mud that gets up in here. He's looking pretty good. I don't see any redness or any of that there, but it's technically called interdigital dermatitis, I believe, and it's not foot rot, but that is what they call it. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on that here this season with it being so wet and cold. In the trimming, what we're looking for, these side walls are going to grow faster than the area on the base here of the hoof. And so the problem is these side walls grow and they wrap around, and then they step on them, kind of fold them over like he's doing here, and then you're going to get dirt trapped in between the side walls and the base of the hoof. So we want to trim the outside edges back. We'll do that. And I always kind of think of this as like a toenail. So there is a point where you can cut and you can go too far. Try not to do that. You will see bleeding if you go too far. Trim that back. So I'm going to trim the tip as well. They get to looking like an elf when you're looking down at them. That's pretty much your cue there to you need to do some trim work. Okay, here's the completed hoof, trimmed it up. Just a few notes here. Obviously learn from my mistakes. When when you start to get too close, you'll notice pink. And, you know, I got the sidewalls cleaned up, the insides, trimmed a little off the base here, but you can see where, and I'm a little concerned about this spot. So there's a little bit of dirt in here, and I don't want to keep going and cut that pocket out because you can see I'm into the red here. And again, kind of like a toenail, that's going to be really painful, could potentially get infected. So I'm going to stop here, and obviously next go around we'll check him. But this is kind of what you're looking for. Again, we are by no means experts. This is kind of what the vet, when he was out, told us to do here. So that's the way you should be looking. But stop when you hit the red. If you do get into blood, it's not the end of the world. We keep something around called Blue Coat. It's a spray. You can kind of coat it. You can do that. My experience has been they'll simply recover without that, though. You don't absolutely have to have that. So interdigital space is clean. When I press, he's not showing any pain. It's not red, and hoof's trimmed. So that was good to go. You've heard me say it before, and I'll say it again. By no means in any of our videos do I claim to be an expert at farming or hoof care or any of this. We're just ordinary folks trying to give it a go here. So if you are someone with experience, either a vet, farmer, somebody that knows hoofs, feel free to jump in here and correct or get a discussion going. That's how we learn in community from one another. So thanks for following along. Take care.